This is the 2023 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 RST. It has the Texas Edition package, and it comes with a sticker price of $60,945. I'm going to show you what you get for that sticker price. We're going to try to answer the question, is it worth that sticker price? One of the big advantages to these Silverados is the length of the cab. And while there's plenty of space in the front seat for the driver and the passenger, there's a lot of space compared to a lot of competitors in the rear seating area, especially for leg room, plenty of height. So depending on how tall you are, you can still be very comfortable back there. And there are multiple engine options for different situations depending on what you need or what you want as far as towing and different situations like that go. And one of my favorite features is, while a lot of these trucks, depending on the trim level, could actually be called a luxury truck more than a pickup truck, or really kind of a combination of the two, no matter what trim level you end up with on one of these Silverado 1500s, you're going to have a lot of space within the bed and a multitude of tie downs. In fact, there are a total of 12, 3 in the front, 3 in the rear on both sides. You're also going to have the power outlet right here. And as you can see, I'll give you a better view of this, the LED in-bed lighting. I like how Chevrolet has angled that towards the front. There is a lot of light during dark times when you're working after dark, late at night, early in the morning, whatever the situation is. As far as the RST trim level goes, you're still going to find yourself with LED lighting everywhere you look. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, LED fog lights. Now, I don't have them turned on down there. And I do like the design here of the front grille. You've got the gloss black. You have the nice black surrounded in chrome Chevrolet bow tie logo. Let's not get tongue twisted now. You can laugh at that if you want to. And when you look at the daytime running lights, the blinkers, everything that's here, everything looks very nice, very modern for 2022. Obviously, Chevrolet making changes here to the overall design of the bumper, the lights, all of that has changed as of 2022. And there's a little bit of a hint as to what's under the hood. We'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. We'll find the gloss black mirror caps. Now, these mirrors are manually folding. They are power adjustable and they are heated. And another feature here that I really like has to do with the button right here. That's passive entry. So what that means is, as long as you have the remote in your pocket, you ladies in your purses or in your hand or whatever, you can walk up and push this button to lock and or unlock all 4 doors. Now, on this particular trim level, you won't find the button on the rear, but there are trim levels where that is available. 4x4, obviously. I don't have to tell you this is a 4-wheel drive truck. And you have the LED taillights to finish things off. And one of my favorite features here, just making it so easy to get in and out of the bed, whether the tailgate is open or not, is going to be the bumper step, or the corner steps here on the bumper. One on each side, nice and deep, plenty of area to find sure-footedness. As of 2019, they actually made these a little bit deeper, a little bit larger than what they were with the previous generation. And one other thing I really like here is the fact that you have some extra lighting on and around the vehicle, not only with the cab light up there, but you're going to have the light right here. And depending on trim level, again, that's going to vary some, but this is what you get with the RST. And here under the hood, I already pretty much told you what is here, but let's talk about the numbers because they are rather impressive. The 3-liter diesel 6-cylinder, it's the Duramax diesel, 305 horsepower. But the impressive number is the torque, 490 foot-pounds of torque. That's 30 foot-pounds higher than what you will get with the 6.2-liter V8. All mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And a big advantage to this engine option of the 4 engine options that are available, there are 4 to choose from, the 2.7, the 3-liter, the 5.3, and the 6.2. Here are the MPGs with the 3-liter Duramax diesel, 22 city, 27 highway, 24 combined. And 4.2 gallons of gas is what Chevrolet says you should use for every 100 miles driven. And in the event that you're curious about how much fuel capacity this truck actually has, it has a 24-gallon fuel tank. Now, like I said, as you can see down there on the left-hand side, 1,145 miles. And check out the MPGs. The average, 21 miles per gallon. That's not bad, and it's right there at what the sticker says that should be city-based, at least, at 22 miles per gallon. And as we lower the dampened tailgate, always a nice feature to have. Well, that's if Tom can hit the button correctly right there. Let's see if we can get that to come on down. There we go. We're going to leave the bloopers in. All right, 1,920 pounds is the payload, a rather impressive number. But what is even more impressive is the fact that this truck, when properly equipped, can tow up to 13,300 pounds. That is very impressive for a full-size truck. And essentially, we've already taken a look at everything that is back here. There is plentiful space. And I like the fact that this truck comes with a bed liner, something you would expect for a sticker price of over $60,000. And what about tire and wheel size? We'll have 275 on the width. I can't even hardly get my hand all the way across there. We will have the 60 series sidewall wrapped around the gloss black 20-inch wheels. And we'll take a little bit more in-depth look at the remote. In case you're curious to see, you do have a remote start, and you can open the tailgate with the button right there. And here's how easy it is. You don't even have to lock the truck anymore to use remote start. You're just going to hit that button twice. And then, if you want to shut the truck off with the remote, you only have to hit that button one time. Earlier I mentioned the fact that there is plentiful room here in the back seat area. And that not only extends to passengers, but there's also quite a bit of space within the nice large door bins. You've got the nice comfortable armrests. I know a lot of us in the car review area of YouTube tend to use the poke test, almost like we're testing for the doneness of a steak. It's better to just put your arm on there. And when I do that, I can say, yes, that is nice and soft. And you can obviously raise the seat cushions up, not only to gain access to everything for changing a tire, but you could actually increase storage capacity back here. If no one is sitting back here, that opens up a lot of space for additional cargo space. Now, there is no sunroof on this particular model. I don't think that's a bad thing. Also, no side steps of any sort, definitely not power, but that's going to help lower the price a little bit. We do have the rear seat pockets on both seats. And while you don't have the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in right here, that's not a big deal because you can use the door bins to hold bottles or cups, and the two cup holders here on the rear of the center console, as well as the air conditioning vents here on the rear of the center console, along with a couple of options for USB connectivity. And moving into the front seat area, looking in through the passenger side door, pretty much the same setup as what we saw with the rear doors. A little bit more space as far as the door bins go. Again, we're going to have those nice comfortable armrests. Now, you won't find a power seat for the passenger. You will find a power seat for the driver. But one thing I really like here is the fact that there are so many little nooks and crannies for storage of a multitude of different types. You have what we have on the side of the center console right here. We also have the upper glove box. We have the lower glove box. Never find any gloves in the glove boxes, but it is what it is. We'll get the grab handle and use that to hop inside and take a look at what we have with the shifter right here. Now, the one thing, if I had to sound the gong on anything here, it would be right here. These cup holders should honestly be back here, a little bit easier to get to, especially for the driver having to reach way over here, almost into the personal space of the passenger. Hopefully they're not claustrophobic or kind of uncomfortable when people get into their personal space, right? You never know, but it is what it is. And you know what is interesting here? Let me show you. In case you haven't looked at one of these trucks since 2021, the 2022s and 2023s no longer have wireless charging in this area. That doesn't mean it's not here. It's actually right here, right in front of the center console. Speaking of the center console, a lot of space right here, nice and comfortable, doubles as an armrest and the lid for the center console. You have a lot of storage capacity here. You can take the tray out right here. There's a lot of space. Yes, being that this is a daily driven truck that has already been purchased, then you're going to see a lot of stuff in here. Also, some more connectivity options as well, and we'll move that out of the way so I can show you the power outlet. And taking a look now through the driver's side door, not going to be much different from what we saw on the passenger side. Obviously, you'll have a few more switches and controls right here, but you can see what all is here. Here's your drive mode selector on the left, everything to control the lighting functionality on the right, and you do have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. You just have to drop the lever that is located right up here to do that. Now, let's hop inside and look at one of the features that I personally think is pretty cool. When you hop inside, you get the animated graphics on both screens. Bring a combination that looks pretty cool. And I know a lot of people don't like it. Some people do. Tell me what your thoughts are. So we'll reach down here, hit the push button start, and we'll take a look, a little bit more in-depth look at what we have here on the driver display. Now, what I did was I just pushed right here. So we see display layout right there. Guess what? You can change that. So if you want a different look, well, here's how you're going to get it. Very nice look, depending on your personal preferences or maybe just the mood you're in for the day and how you plan to drive. If you want the clean look, well, there you go. It's very clean. A very nice modern look. That's one of the most common comments I've had in the past, is that the interior of these trucks looked rather antiquated. I don't think anyone's going to be saying that anymore, at least not right now. We had a good refresh for 2022 that obviously has worked its way over here to 2023, so not a full redesign, but definitely changes to the layout of the dash and the way everything looks. 12.3 inches for the digital instrument cluster. And right over here, believe it or not, this is a standard feature on all vehicles. It's called a turn signal lever. When you push it into the up position, it means you're changing lanes to the right or turning to the right. And the same thing goes for the left when you push it into the down position. I know some of you may not have had that feature on your vehicles in the past and you're curious, what exactly is that? Well, it's really a multitasker, and I can't say smart aleck things about everything. You have the auto high beams. If you want to turn that off, here's the button to do it. If you need to turn it on, here's the button to do it. And then, of course, you have your shifter paddles up here. And right underneath, kind of hard to tell from this angle or show from this angle, but we can see it right there. This is going to be on both sides for controlling the functionality of the radio. And for me personally, well, before we get to that, let's just look a little more storage. I told you there are a lot of little nooks and crannies throughout the interior of this truck. But here is the 13.4-inch screen that has Google Assistant built in. I'm not going to demonstrate that because apparently when I do, sometimes I set off Google in your homes. So I'm trying not to do that. But you can see what all is here. You can pair your phone. And while you see a USB cable right here, you actually can pair your phone and use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly. So that's a good thing. You do have maps built in. So if you want to use that, that is absolutely no problem. Again, voice recognition through Google for controlling all of that, so you don't actually have to manually input anything. If you're going to use the Maps feature, there is everything for trailering. You can start your test right there if you want to. You can do whatever you need to do. There's quite a bit you can do here. Obviously, you can pair your phone and do all that good stuff. Very simple to do. Now, on this particular model, there's only one camera. You step up in trim level, you'll find additional camera views. But the rear view camera, at the very least, is going to be on, well, every vehicle now. So no matter what you buy, as of 2020, at least in the United States, every vehicle was required to have a rear view camera. So just in case you were curious about that, I think all automakers were way ahead of that. And you will see several one-touch buttons right here. I likely don't need to tell you too much about what all of that is. Dual zone climate control. The one thing that is missing here, trailer braking. You would think that it would have a trailer brake system built into the truck because of what's under the hood. A lot of people are going to take advantage of that high torque range to do some towing, but that's not what's here. Again, kind of have to sound the gong on that. It just is what it is, in my opinion. That's something that should be here. Okay, we're going to get out on the road for the test drive, and obviously the sound of the engine is going to be the biggest difference. Even though it sounds like a diesel, you can still kind of hear that 6-cylinder in it just a little bit, but it really doesn't sound too bad, that's for sure. It's a very enjoyable truck to drive, and I'm going to get up here just a little bit where I can see that nobody's going to be pulling out in front of me here. Well, let's go up a little bit further before I drop the hammer and give you a good little exhaust clip, at least from the interior. This truck is really going to get up and go when you need it to. Obviously, I know some people might think, well, 305 horsepower isn't much, but it gets down the road without any trouble. As you can hear. Better slow back down. Definitely no problems getting down the road, that's for sure. And even if you're towing a trailer or have a heavy payload in the bed, this truck's definitely going to deliver based on the numbers that it gives, obviously. I mean, you don't want to go over that. And one thing I did forget, there was a couple things I didn't talk about earlier. Number one, when it comes to towing and hauling, you have the sticker on the inside of the driver's side door that tells you, gives you the formula to figure out exactly what you can tow or haul with your truck, with this particular truck, based on, well, a number of different things. It's one thing that really confuses a lot of people. They just assume that because the towing rating is up to 13,300 pounds, they assume, well, that's what you can do in all situations. Not that people are going to max that out. I don't know, maybe they do sometimes, but I don't think it's all the time. But the thing is, you have to consider, that's what that information on that sticker is for. How much weight do you have in the bed? How many people are in the cab, and what is their total weight? So it gives you all the information to figure all that out without going into great detail and confusing anybody. I like that. You also have multiple driving modes. Normal, you have off-road, terrain, and sport. So that's a good thing. Obviously, multiple driving modes. This truck will do well off-road. It'll do well in the snow and all that good stuff, being all-wheel drive, or excuse me, four-wheel drive. There is a difference between the two. And something else that I know I've seen in some of the reviews that I've read from other people is they talk about the fact that the hood is, yeah, kind of squared off. It's not completely squared off, but it is fairly shapely, somewhat in the direction of a brick to at least a degree. It's still not that hard to see over. A lot of people have said that in some of the reviews that I've read, but in all reality, once you drive for a while, it's just like anything else. You get used to it, and it's not really an issue whatsoever. The cab is actually very comfortable, very roomy, very spacious. It's a truck, so it's going to have a little bit of a truck-like ride quality, but it's not bad in my personal opinion. Now, here's a little something to that. Let me add a little something. When somebody says something like that in one of these car review videos, especially during the test drive, that's where it's really important to test drive the vehicle for yourself and draw your own conclusions, because I'm going based off of my experience with what I'm most used to, my daily driver. And it rides decently well, but it's not a Cadillac, and it's also not a tank. So the truth of the matter is that that's why it's so important to just go ahead and drive these vehicles for yourself if it's something you're planning on buying, because you might find out that some of the things I said may not apply to you. You might say, it rides better than you said it did, Tom, something along those lines. But one way or another, these trucks offer quite a bit, and that's what you get for a sticker price of $60,945 with the 2023 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 RST. It is a mouthful. Thankfully, I didn't say that multiple times throughout the video, or you probably wouldn't have made it to this point. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. Is this truck worth that price? Tell me what your answer is, and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I want to say a special thanks to my friend Montana, who owns this truck. I really appreciate him giving me the opportunity to show it to all of you. And of course, I appreciate each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.